And we're live. This is the Healing Healthcare Contributing Author Interview Series, and we are so excited to welcome you today. Hi, my name is Sharon Weinstein, and we welcome you to the Healing Healthcare Authors Tour with your host, Dina and myself, co-authors of Healing Healthcare, Evidence-Based Strategies to Mend Our Broken System. And broken it is. Nurses remain the backbone of healthcare, and little has been done or even studied to remedy a system that is clearly in crisis. If this is not addressed now, humankind will suffer. Our book is packed with solutions to the problems that plague our healthcare systems today, the issues that lead to these troubling sentiments among prospective nurses. Nurse leaders share their experiences, their thoughts, their evidence, and their strategies to ensure the health of our healthcare. You will find within each chapter actionable steps for fixing a system that is currently suffering in silence. We must, with your help, get this book into the hands of those making decisions. But before we start today, we want to acknowledge you and thank you for joining us today. We have viewers from across the globe, so please use the chat and let us know where you're from. You can still comment if you see this in replay, and we will respond. Dina, would you introduce today's guest?
Oh, I am excited to do so, Sharon. Today, we want to welcome Benjamin Joel Breboneria, whose chapter, A Global Perspective, is part of our workforce section. Benjo, as his close friends and colleagues call him, has been exposed to the extensive yet fulfilling landscape of nursing education and leadership. He is passionate about empowering others, utilizing the power of his voice to give opportunities for others to speak for themselves. He's an eloquent leader, a competent team player, and he exuberates an unbridled passion for learning. President-elect of Sigma Phi Gamma chapter, he's a graduate of St. Paul University in the Philippines. So Benjo, welcome to our interview today. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you so much, Sharon and Dina, for including me in this project. It is really such an honor for me to be working with both of you and all the globally renowned nurse leaders in this project.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very heartfelt. Well, you know, when we invited you to join us on this journey, tell us what got you spurred to say, you know what, yeah, I'm going to join them. Tell us why you got involved.
If you will ask me why I got involved, probably what is interesting is that the title of the book itself, because the title resonates with me. I think that's number one. I mean, it talks about healing. And with our conversation a while ago, the truth is I have been in a lot of traumatic experiences, particularly when I was during my childhood days. And as you can see, sometimes when we are still young, we really do not have yet the ability or probably the resources to understand what is happening to us. And since as a nurse leader like me, who is constantly doing inner work and getting to know what inner work is, particularly with my mentors and also my coaches, you know, our wounds, like the wounds that we have that came from our experiences, I mean, past experiences, also shaped me to dig deeper, within myself, and for me to be able to get to know myself and who I am in the process. So it is a long, continuous journey, but the driving force why I want to get involved is because of the title itself. It talks about healing. And as I've mentioned, not everybody, not an ordinary person, for example, understands what inner work is. And of course, I just want to add that I will not be able to do that without the people such as my mentors, people that I admire in the profession, in our field, the nursing field.
Excellent.
That's
Thank
fabulous.
you for joining us. Back to you, Sharon. I know you've got a question.
I do. And Benjo, I really want to reiterate how exciting it was for me to meet you at the Sigma meeting in San Antonio this year, when we can meet our authors, not just face to face online, but really face to face in person and pose for a photo. It's just a great opportunity for all of us to get to know more about you and to truly appreciate what it was that you wrote, your message. It is so strong. So I'd like you to tell us about the impact of change and how we can infuse gratitude.
Great question, Sharon.
To answer your first question, I mean the impact of change, or let's talk about change. If I will think now, one of the most powerful quotations that always resonates with me is that you never change your life until you step out of your comfort zone, and change begins at the end of your comfort zone. So, if I will share my own personal experience when I went out of my own country, which is the Philippines, and really exposed myself to diversity, so many positive things happened in my life. And I think one of those, since we're talking about change, I think one of those is it helped me gain confidence. Of course, it's a journey. It is something that is progressive. It's something that didn't happen instantly. But when I first came here in Saudi Arabia, for example, communication is not that easy for me. I mean, I always notice the differences in which sometimes it is not always fulfilling in the beginning. And that feeling of, should I say, unsatisfaction and my drive to build connections, so there is kind of a conflict there, gave me an avenue towards doing something that will help me improve. Because how can I improve my situation that I'm having a hard time to connect? Or, for example, I do not understand the culture yet, or the differences that I see around me. So it kind of became the driving force that pushed me to improve my skill sets. So I studied about health equity, diversity, inclusion, that eventually led me to become confident in my abilities, especially in dealing with people who are different than me.
Mm.
And I can say that in that process, I became more inclusive. And I will always look for commonalities. If in the beginning, you will capitalize on looking at the differences, but this time, I will always look for the commonalities, because there is so much appreciation and gems that you can find out, especially with another human being. If you will look at what's common and what are the commonalities between what you see, rather than looking at the differences. When you also face, how can I say it, these kinds of worries, like what I had in the past when I was new here in Saudi Arabia, and you decide to embrace that change, you also get that opportunity to challenge yourself. And with those challenges comes with increased confidence and, faith in your own abilities, especially if you are lacking in your own self-esteem, or overcoming change is basically a surefire to boost your confidence.
Right. I want to add an extra question to that, because I don't believe that the global experience that you now have was on your radar when you first completed your initial nursing program.
Yeah.
So when you start to look at the doors that have opened for you and the connections that you have made, I have seen you network at a major Sigma meeting. I have seen you work the room. It is so impressive. It's something that I would not have done at your age, but it is so, so impressive. So when you start to think about that not being on your initial radar, how does it feel now as a global health leader and the incoming president of a Sigma chapter to be at the helm of an organization that truly respects you for the value and the differences that you bring to the table?
Wow, I really like your statement, Sharon, because you said, what, what is it now? I mean, I can say that really I became more flexible. My lifestyle also kind of, should I say, enhanced, because there is more color into it. I am not dealing only to, let's say, one nationality, for example, but I really get to how can I say it, to work with diversity, and it kind of added a lot of color. You got me, in my life as well. Because one of the things that I have learned in these networks and with diversity is really I was able to um, have a different mix of knowledge, or should I say skills, wisdom.
Mhm.
Not only that, there are so many things. If I will compare from before to now, I mean, when it comes to what I have
Mhm.
gained from networking and from connecting with others.
I love that.
Great.
Shall I go to the third question, Sharon?
On for it, Dina. Go.
Hey, all right. I love that. You talk a lot about journey. You talk about, what you've experienced over your lifetime. One of the things I want to ask you, something a little bit more personal. How did you find your purpose? Because I think everybody should hear about how did you do that?
I think all human beings, you will come to a point or a phase in your life where you do not know what to do. And we know that, I mean, theoretically, right? I mean, there's a period where there is confusion, right? But for me, what happened was when I went out of the Philippines, it actually became the start of something that is transformational for me. And that is because um, I am away from my own country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is, should I say, everything is easy. Should I say, it's not easy, I mean, economically and financially. But I mean, um, I am in a different place. I am in a different workplace. I am working in a place where, as I said a while ago, there is diversity. And I think one of the highlights when I came to that point of really understanding myself, who I am, and my purpose is really embracing the uncomfortability of the difficult emotions that comes to that journey.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we are not dead people, as I mentioned a while ago. We are not dead people. I mean, we in our lifetime, we have a lot of experiences, um, in our day-to-day life, and we
Mm-hmm.
feel different emotions. And typically, human beings, they, we react differently when it comes to emotions, right? Some people will want to stay away from it and just don't want to deal with it. But there are also people who really face those kinds of emotions head on. Emotions that are difficult, emotions that are tough, should I say,
Yeah.
emotions that are deep, emotions that are depressing. But embracing those kinds of emotions is just, really a part of growth, a part of growth and a part of our transformation. And when you get to know your tenacity and
Mhm.
your resilience in that journey, and, like looking deeper within what's happening in your life, it will also open the gate for you to be able to know yourself in a deeper level. And when you get to know yourself deeply, and got to know yourself deeply, that will also be an opportunity for you to really find that purpose, what you really
Mm-hmm.
want, and what really makes you happy. I will tell you, when I was young, financially, I was kind of an entrepreneur when I was in the Philippines. I'm not saying that I do not need money, or like, of course, everybody needs to,
Right.
day-to-day expenses and all of this kind of stuff. But what makes me happy currently, I mean, in my life, if you will ask me, is really making a difference to the people around me in many different ways. I mean, by simply helping a colleague, or by simply listening to, how can I say, to a colleague who is expressing their challenges. Even even if you are not talking, by just listening, or
Mm-hmm.
by say helping the people around you in their initiatives, in their projects, or sharing your wisdom to your students. So there are
Mm-hmm.
so many different ways. I can say that that is really something that makes me happy. And I can also consider that it's also should I say, a part of my purpose, or one of the, should I
Yeah.
say, my purpose.
Yeah. One of the things that I did, but before we went into the recording and our live studio here, there's a couple of things that you said were so very important. One is embracing the pain, allowing yourself to feel that pain, but also be present. And that's what I took off of the recording today, is being present with people and going on that journey of this enlightenment, basically, of where that purpose is. So I just want to thank you for sharing those really important things, because that's hard to be present in the pain, because people don't want to feel pain a lot of times. And it's really hard to sit there and feel that, right? It also makes you a better empathetic listener. And I heard that as well,
Yeah.
so.
And we can feel your passion about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that our listeners or viewers can as well. Dina, do you want to ask that one last question about a takeaway?
Yeah, what is the takeaway? What is the one key takeaway of the chapter that you wrote with Healing Healthcare?
Because Sharon and Dina, when I heard about the title of the book, because the title is Healing Healthcare, but really the powerful takeaway is the value of every human being to heal themselves.
Mm,
When they know how to heal themselves,
mm,
they are in their workplace, for example, that also, or that can be that transformative value that can also transform healthcare. And why did I say that? If the listeners or the viewers will be reading about the chapter, it talks about authenticity. It talks about vulnerability. It's like being honest about
mhm,
your hurt.
right.
Sadly, sadly, just like what I mentioned a while ago, the norm is to bury or like move forward from the hurt. Uh, and if you survive a storm, you're expected to quickly gather yourself and act like it didn't happen. But as human beings, what we really need is to really care for our wounds and to make sure that we properly heal. Otherwise, we can bring that pain or that wound everywhere.
Mm,
We will only keep hurting people, or should I say, not be able to bring healing to everyone, including in our own workspaces. So caring for our own hurt
mm,
and is one of the most loving things that we can do for the people around us. And as I told you, when I see the title of our book, um, really, it's for me, it's really transformative because stories can heal. Stories can heal. The most powerful story is to share our own story. And
Right.
everyone has walked through tough times, right? And we begin to share our honest and unedited stories. It connects us with other people
mhm,
because people rarely grow and heal.
mm,
Hearing about our successes, or the good things that are happening about us, but sharing about the dark side, or the dark skies, should I say, the thunder or whatever, that opens the door for others to begin being honest about their own pain and
mm,
become also when it comes to their hardships. Maybe then they will start to share their stories and their trials with others, bringing healing to the person as well, or to the people
mhm.
around us. So really, I was so amazed. I mean, when this book was conceptualized, and I'm excited. Excited to be listening or to be reading the stories also of our, other globally renowned nurse leaders.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you have to heal yourself before you can help heal others, right?
That's right.
And being open. I love that. So Sharon, I'd like to send that
Yeah.
back over to you to close our session here today with Benjo.
Sure. Talk about gratitude. Dina and I are so grateful to you for sharing your presence, your passion, your purpose, and the strong takeaways from your particular chapter. There are so many untold stories, and nurses must be given a voice
Yeah.
in order to be able to share. And we are so grateful to you, Benjo, for sharing your story and for inviting so many people to this broadcast. We're thrilled to pieces. We're just thrilled. However, it is time for a close. So I'm going to let you say one more thing before I close us out. Go ahead.
Because you mentioned about gratitude, but what I want to say really, it is really such an honor to be working with the both of you and all the
Thank you.
renowned nurse leaders in this project. Because the truth is, these kinds of opportunities is really what makes me humble. And there are indeed people in this world who can see the good things in us. And whatever you saw in me, Sharon, I really and truly value and appreciate that. Also, Dina. And the same way as I am seeing in others also. You are both sharing your kindness and it organically keeps me more grounded and continue to become kind to the people around me. So that's all I.
You are our bright light, Benjo.
You certainly are the bright light in many people's eyes today. It is time for a close though, folks, and an invitation for you to join us again as we welcome another one of your peers to the program next Thursday. We have basically 26 contributing authors, so 28 authors in all in our book. We're thrilled to pieces that we will actually see advanced copies in a week or so. And that the real book will be available for pre-orders in late June. And we cannot wait to share that information with all of you. So we are thrilled to pieces. We want to thank you for joining us today. We'll close out our program. And let's give a round of applause to Benjo for joining us today. Great job. We look forward to seeing all of you next week. Thank you.